There are certain things that higher dimensional beings do. They fully embody, and because they are on a higher dimension and therefore know, experience, and perceive more, then following and learning from what they do and applying it in our lives will not only raise our vibrations, but mentally, physically, and soulfully change us. The benefits of applying these habits is that you actually start to reap the rewards, and it is not just some idea or theory that stands. You'll feel better, get yourself out of lower states, and solve problems quicker. This can be achieved by allowing ourselves to ascend. The first thing that I would like to clarify is, what is the fifth dimension? The fifth dimension is not necessarily a different place from where you are at. The fifth dimension is one where you transcend good and bad. It is about going past even our thoughts and into the true being. The first habit to adopt is simply to observe the 3D reality that you are in. Do not associate a good or bad or even a perception, but just sit back and look. This is a hard task to do because we are in the third dimension and our minds are built for this reality, meaning that your mind will categorize things as good or bad, positive or negative, like or dislike. But to raise out of this mindset and into higher spaces, we have to do what higher beings do, and that is observe and see the real truth of things. This is the idea of letting go of the rules and letting go of the labels, and instead just being. As you let go more, you are in a state of being, and that is what the reality of the fifth dimension holds. It is the magic of simply being rather than having and doing. It becomes about the journey, not the end goal. With that being said, some people in the beginning of this journey look at ascension as a competition, which is totally understandable because in a way life is like a long and specific game with yourself. Fifth dimensional beings recognize the balance of pushing themselves to the limits as much needed to make some progress, and the idea that life is about the pleasure and pain of relaxing. One of the main habits of 5D beings is the ability to attach and detach from ideas, objects, peoples, and labels. The higher vibrational beings always can attach to an idea when it needs to be studied or worked on, and detach from ideas when it becomes an obstacle to them. Another habit of fifth dimensional beings that can raise your vibration instantly is that they understand they are a higher dimensional being and that they are in a body and they are having a human experience. Knowing this makes all the difference. It allows yourself to detach from the mess of reality, but not in an irresponsible way. This realization comes and enlightened people take the opposite route. They put more responsibility for their actions, ideas, and being, and that micro change in perception affects everyone on the planet. Reality is what you make of it. You can think of it as a mirror and it reflects back to us our perceptions. The mind is in a constant state of assuming facts of the world, and that is how it can make some wrong calls. 5D beings know the secret of the world. When this is first discovered, people think, how do I change my thoughts, my emotions to change my reality? And when these questions are asked, the subconscious mind will generate an answer. It is the conscious investment and belief in yourself that you find the answers to that. Beings of higher dimensions realized that the only obstacle was themselves, and that to ascend, they would have to know that they could do it first. As you try to raise your vibration and become more enlightened, you have to realize that enlightenment is your base state. Love, joy, peace, and enlightenment are not stages that are worked up to, but rather realizations that you are in these forms. Realization of the idea that you can be enlightened is an enlightened idea. Assuming that your vibration is low and you must work up is a smart way to always be on your grind for spirituality. But at times it can undermine your growth. Accept that you are on your path, and whatever the journey holds for you is something that your soul can go through. Fifth dimensional beings realize that there is no difference between anybody, that everyone is living their life and playing through the reality that they have chosen. Throughout the entire spiritual awakening process, people constantly are facing adversities and working through them. The enlightened person makes a point to discuss these problems and take on the responsibility of trying to make a worthwhile solution. When we learn about caring, we go about it in one of two ways, most of the time simultaneously. We look to exclude people from our care, and we look to include everyone. Fifth dimensional beings understand this and work to take responsibility of caring for everyone. I want to thank you for watching this video. If you like this video, please leave a like and subscribe to my channel. If you have any questions about habits that 5-dimensional beings have, please feel free to ask me in the comment section below. And as always, have a good one.